Look, Ramesh, is the voice to Parliament fundamentally a violation of this crucial principle of equality between all citizens of a nation?
Oh, absolutely. You cannot end racial discrimination by adding fresh discrimination based on race. Uh, Let me put it this way. I claim no right, privilege, immunity, or obligation that is not available to every other Australian, but I do want, for myself and all my descendants, any right or privilege that is available to any other Australian. That principle is violated. So I think what the Voice proposal does is it violates both the ethic of conviction as a matter of principle and also, unfortunately, the ethic of consequences in terms of its negative and positive impacts.
Well, look, even it's so obvious this is a system of racial privilege by its very definition. And so, considering that we can see this, why is it so tempting for people to vote yes for this kind of thing? Is it just the old school problem that if you offer people racial supremacy, they take it? Is that what's happening here?
Well, that wouldn't explain majority support. No, I think it's different. I think we are all of us aware of the actual disadvantages across many fronts that Aboriginal communities suffer from. We tend to have, and the COVID years showed that very powerfully, we tend to have an underlying trust in the good intentions of government and authority. We might not like individual politicians, but we seem to like and trust our government that they have our best interests at heart. And therefore, when the proposal was first floated, that it's meant to recognize Aborigines, it's meant to start reversing their disadvantages, it appealed to the feel-good factor, the vibe. And as a matter of goodwill, I think almost all Australians would want to do what is right and good for the Aborigines. But as the debate has progressed and people have said, well, where are the details? What does it mean in practice? If it's going to be so wonderful for them, why is it that people like Warren Mundine and Jacinda Price, who have devoted themselves to years and years of trying to improve the Aborigines' welfare, why is it that they have doubts? How will the government prevent misuse and abuse? Do we really want another vast bureaucracy that for its existence and for a bigger budget and more resources will depend upon saying, no, this hasn't been solved. In fact, we now have more problems and we need more people and more resources to do things. And the very idea that it will be entrenched in the Constitution and therefore will permanently divide one group of Australians from another, risk fueling backlash, risk litigation in the courts, risk a complete paralysis of efficient and timely governance. All these implications are now starting to filter through into the general community. And just simply, the government response or the voice proponents' response is now one of deny, defend, and deflect. Deny that these extreme consequences will be guaranteed. Well, no one says they will be guaranteed. What we're saying is you don't know. Deflect and say, well, we need to do something. Yes, we need to do something. That doesn't mean that this particular thing is what we need to do. And defend in terms of, well, this is important for our reputation in the world. Excuse me. I think Australians generally know that we are projected and acknowledged as one of the truly great multiracial countries in the world already. If that was not the case, there wouldn't be thousands lining up to grab a chance to come to Australia through permanent migration. The people who criticize Western societies as being irredeemably racist in all its institutions and structures, I don't see too many of them getting up and leaving to go back to other countries outside the West that don't practice these. So I think we know in our hearts, and the rest of the world knows, that this is actually a great modern multiracial country. These claims by extremists and radicals don't stand up to scrutiny. It's claims fueled by race baiters and grifters out to improve themselves. And the final part is, and I think this was brought out in an article in the Spectator magazine by Maurice Baum. He made the point that the class gap between city-based, urban, neo-indigenes, as we call them, and the outback Aboriginal communities. That class gap is growing wider than the gap between Aborigines and non-Aborigines overall. So that's where the real attention should be focused on. Make sure the Aboriginal kids are in school and the Aboriginal adults are in the workplace. That will get us much further.